Although there are many different items that may need to be cleaned up, it can be overwhelming to think of a good place to begin. I've taught my students that you should begin with the review of a client's books. This identifies issues and builds our roadmap to cleaning up the books. Here are just a couple of things you should be reviewing when you're doing a cleanup. Well, more than just a couple, 4 things. So the first being, how many active accounts, bank accounts, and credit cards are there? If a client has any personal or an active account that shouldn't be a part of this business's books, before you get rid of them, you first must reconcile them if needed, and then make them active. I'll make a separate video to cover this process, so just keep an eye out in the link in the description below, and it'll be there once we've published it. Number 2, have all these accounts been reconciled? If the answer is no, then this will be the first step that will need to be completed. Reconciliation of these accounts ensures there will be no unclear transactions. Any duplicates will be found and then corrected, or AKA cleaned up. After reconciliations, this is number 3, after reconciliations are completed for the year needed. So if you are cleaning up for, say, 2022 and 2023, start with reconciling the entire year of 2022's reconciliations before beginning 2023. You'll now be able to clean up any duplicate or extra transactions. I use the reconciliation window to help me identify some of these duplicates. What's left over from the reconciliation, assuming that these leftover transactions are not checks that were paid to vendors and that had just never been cashed yet, then we can assume that these are our duplicates and not needed in QuickBooks at all. So we can then move to the next step of either voiding/clearing them. But note, it's not always as easy as just to void or delete. We sometimes need to use a duplicate bank account to back out certain duplicates. A student of mine named Heather affectionately calls this process my Cuba method. Cuba being a good thing, meaning clean up bank account. This method can be used on transactions like bills, payments, undeposited funds, AR and AP aging transactions, and checks that paid any invoices. Any leftover expenses that are deemed duplicates can just be simply voided. 4, cleaning up the oddities. So transactions in the liability accounts need to also be accounted for and reconciled. Any balances in these accounts tells us that the business owes money to an outside vendor/source. Request and use documentation like statements provided by that vendor or source to confirm that the amounts match the balance sheet transactions. Transactions in the equity, you'll need to review and confirm these transactions for the entire year. They should be easy for like owner's draws or owner's investment and contributions, just as long as all of the checking accounts and cash accounts have been reconciled. End of year adjustment, journal entries to clear the equity accounts into retained earnings. That's another step. This process requires us to take balances from the previous year and zero them out using a journal entry into the accounts called retained earnings. I do have a year-end checklist that you can download for free. I'll leave the link in the description below, and it's in my bio as well. I'll also create another video to go over this process and link that video below in the description once we've uploaded it, because that's a whole step in itself. So now essentially, these 4 steps should be enough to clean up a basic service industry's clients' books. And when I say basic, I mean like expense tracking and bill pay only. No inventory or any job tracking. You may run into other oddities that no one can really foresee because with my experience that I've had doing all these bookkeeping cleanups over the years and also coaching others through cleanups, I've learned that every single one of these cleanups have been different. Some are easy and some are difficult. However, one thing I can say for certain is that the underlining and most important step that I feel must be done when you've been hired for a cleanup process is that the reconciliations are completed first. So whether it had been done prior to you taking on someone's books or you have to complete them yourself, the reconciliation step is essential and is one of the very first steps that must be completed before trying to clean up anything else in that account, anything else in that QuickBooks. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, smash that like button. Don't forget to just subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I offer a 20-minute free coaching session for anyone in need of some help or just any guidance on their bookkeeping journey. The link can also be found in the description below. I also welcome any of you to join any of my future live webinar, my live webinars for Bookkeeper Bootcamp that I will be holding throughout the entire tax season. So links to that are in my bio, so you can check that out. And stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys later.